Today I'm going to be playing a Patreon deck from Gross. I guess that's how I'm supposed to pronounce this name. And this deck is a Reliquary Shaman. That is, with Fist of Ra-Din, you play 1 mana spells, and the only 1 mana legendary is the Priest Prime Minion Reliquary of Souls. So you can make a bunch of Reliquary of Souls, and then they shuffle things into your deck so you don't lose in fatigue, and the things they shuffle in are like big and healy. So yeah, it's a pretty hardcore control shaman deck. To fuel the Fist of Ra-Din, we actually only play one 1 mana spell, but we play 2 Wand Makers and 2 Cobalt Spellkins, 2 Torrents as well, and I guess Instructor Fireheart also counts. And then for a win condition, other than just fatiguing with Reliquaries, we also have Cthulhu in the deck. So yeah, seems fun to play this a few days before the Fist of Ra-Din is gone for good.
Rastakan versus Uther. I will bring order. You stand before King Rastakan.
Well, I probably don't need 2 Cage Match Custodians. Wow, that is a much better draw than the second Cage Match Custodian. I have a very good hand here. Sphere of Sapience. Does that mean this is Murloc Shaman, or Murloc Paladin rather?
Reporting for duty.
Which legendary weapon is more powerful? It's mine, for sure.
Reporting for duty.
Could coin out the weapon here, and then next turn I could, like, Torrent, Wand Maker, whatever I get off Wand Maker. But no reason to use the coin, I think. Primordial Studies would have been fine to cast here if I didn't have the weapon. Alright. Definitely some tip the scales action going on in that deck. But I probably just have enough board clears to deal with it, I think. Definitely want to hold on to this scheme as long as I can. So let's see, there's probably 1 wave of Murlocs, 2 Clowns, N'Zoth, and like maybe 2 more Clowns. It's a lot of threats. I might try to save the minion I get off Primordial Studies, so I can play it along with Tidal Wave to kill a Clown board. My hand is somehow really terrible here. I guess I'm fine to use a coin this turn. Revolve. I mean, Revolve getting rid of both of these Death Rattles would be pretty good, and this can be upgraded, potentially. What do I need Revolve against in this matchup? Definitely not against Clowns, probably not N'Zoth, not the Murloc board necessarily. It's okay against Scrapyard Colossus. Let's just Revolve here. Whenever you play a 1-cost minion, draw a spell. This is probably a really bad 4-drop for the opponent, but maybe they can use it. Does that deck even play 1-cost minions? I guess it used to play Armorbender at one point. I don't know if it still does. Gurubashi Berserker's a 2/8? I didn't know that.
Let me think. duty.
Oh man. I can Note Taker double Storm's Wrath here. That seems like the frickin' play, dude. Is it the play? It's probably the play. Lady Vosh seems by far the best here. I can still play it with the Tidal Wave, as I said earlier. Alright, I made a pretty decent board. And next turn I have mana for Horde Pillager Torrent.
Do try to keep yourselves alive.
No! Not my beautiful Gurabashi Berserker.
Reporting for duty.
Hey, that's a minion. Not one that I can play this turn, but it is a minion.
Treasure? Loot? What more can I ask for?
My Torrent is going to cost 4 mana, which is disgusting. But it should be discountable sometime in the future. So I'm probably getting Murlocked this turn, but yeah. I do have the scheme. Might be able to get away with just playing Tidal Wave here. It leaves up 2 1/1 Wind Furies, which are not that scary. And it gives me an 8 mana legendary instead of a 5 mana legendary. I guess I could use a weapon charge here if I really want. Oh my god. Is that good or bad? I only draw 3 cards out of it, mill 5, so it's probably bad. But I'm still not losing in fatigue since my opponent played Tip the Scales and I have this weapon. Yeah, I don't see much reason to use a weapon charge here.
Become the hero. This world needs you. Don't pick the ones.
I mean, the next Tip the Scales probably doesn't even pull that much, so I'm not that worried about it. I guess if it hits a War Leader, though, which no, it doesn't hit a War Leader. Oh, it doesn't hit anything. Wow. They still got it out of their deck, though, which is good for them, I suppose. Well, I would kind of like to dump some cards here so I can draw more with Octazari.
For my glory.
Whoops, not that one. Oh my Yogg. Do I still get my Reliquary? Oh no, that was terrible. My hand was so good. I had another Horde Pillager. I had 2 Reliquary Primes. Oh no. My hand was so good. What is this effect on my hero? Has that been there the whole time? What am I doing? Kill the crabs. I didn't kill any crabs? Oh my god, this fucking turn, dude. Well, I did corrupt this Fellhound. I don't play any card draw, so I can't really abuse the Betrog unless I just get it to stick. Oh my god, I overdrew a Cthulhu piece.
My hand is full.
Oh, this game, dude, this game. I could Earthquake here, but I'm pretty sure it's not a good enough Earthquake. Earthquake should be good on the N'Zoth turn.
For my glory.
I guess I can, at this point, hope that Instructor Fireheart is also board clear. Whatever, I've got some health. Let's see if this fucking thing sticks.
I wonder. Move quickly.
Alright, there's the N'Zoth. There's the rabbit off the N'Zoth. Well, I was saving Earthquake for this turn, but I'm like really not concerned about what my opponent has going on over there. They're showing 2, 4, 6, 7, 12 damage. I guess 12 is kind of a lot. Maybe I play Fireheart this turn, although she burns through my last 2 weapon charges. What if I just play Reliquary Prime? I don't know, the thing is, like, if I don't AoE this board, my opponent's not gonna play, like, another board that needs AoE'd. But I mean, I guess that's, like, good for me on its own, right? My opponent does have a Spectral Flyer in their hand, so that can help kill the Reliquary. But I'm gonna go up to 30, it's still gonna deal with some of my opponent's board. I don't know, I'm actually pretty unhappy with this turn. I just didn't figure out what was best. But yeah, like, it seems like if my opponent just uses the N'Zoth to value trade into the Reliquary Prime, I actually don't have a great answer to it. Maybe I should have just Earthquaked. 7 mana legendary wasn't too bad. And, like, I'm super winning in fatigue, so I really don't need to shuffle more Reliquary Primes. Okay, well, I think I'm pretty happy with how my opponent's trading.
In time, all things are possible. Reporting for duty.
Well, Earthquake isn't quite good enough this turn. Alright, this is probably Instructor Fireheart. Maybe it's Devolving Missiles, though? Hitting Nozdormi, rather, is really good.
Speak to me.
Could just go, like, Missiles... Body... Fellhound? It's kind of bad if the missiles miss, though.
Never be afraid of your inner power.
Wow, Eye of the Storm. I think it's too expensive. Take Thalnos as a cheap spell damage to go with one of my board clears. I think I have to go Plague of Murlocs, even though it transforms my Reliquary.
Nature speaks through us.
I don't know what's happening. If I had played that turn a little faster, I probably could have got somewhere better. I had a Rock Fighter offered to me at that last part. Would have spell bursted my Speaker Gidra if nothing else. But my Gidra is honestly pretty safe here, so maybe it's fine. And picking up this other Plague of Murlocs is actually potentially pretty good against a big board. Against, like, the Yasharaj Clown turn. Seemed like good order there. It was actually good order. I'm very hesitant to Earthquake this, but... I don't know, I mean... I guess my opponent's boards aren't really getting better past this point.
They
I still have another Earthquake, I have a Scheme. I have 2 Dunk Tanks as well. What if I just Walking Fountain? It kills 2 clowns, my opponent's showing 17. I'm very, very unhappy with this play. But in theory, I have enough board clears to fatigue my opponent. I have Heart of Cthulhu to go with Blood Mage Thalnos. I think I'm really happy to see a Scrapyard Colossus here. I could Plague of Murlocs this turn, but that's kind of my answer to the Asheraj turn. I get a lot of value out of the Plague myself, though, is the thing. I'll just play some stuff. The Scrapyard Colossus might have been played last turn to corrupt the last clown, so my opponent might clown for 6 here. In which case, it's kind of nice to just develop some stuff. I have a 1/1 to clean that up, potentially. If I Walking Fountain, I can leave my opponent with 15 in play. 15's kind of a lot, obviously. If I Earthquake and my opponent plays Yasharaj, I lose. I think I Plague here. No rush minions. My opponent's not showing that much damage though. 4, 6, 8, 15. It's kind of a lot. But this Lightning Bolt was a really good pickup. That plus Earthquake kills the Asheraj board. And then if I can just draw Heart of Cthulhu, that deals with the other clown. That seems like a not good attack when you could have sent a Toxfin into the 1/1. I think I was dead to War Leader there, actually. I mean, it was obviously fairly unlikely, but I'm pretty sure I was dead to it. Actually, maybe I wasn't. +2 attack per Murloc. My opponent had 7 Murlocs, effectively, with the Wind Fury. So I think my opponent was 1 off, maybe. Actually, because the weapon could have just gone face and it would have been lethal. Anyway, there's a Scheme, probably a little bit late, but maybe not. Actually, I only needed to get up to 3 because I have Thalnos, so it's probably fine, actually. It's 2 at the end of this turn, my opponent plays Yasharaj, I Earthquake. It goes up to 3, and then yeah, it's good enough. See, I can probably just play Walking Fountain here. Reliquary is also fine. But I think the Walking Fountain is the way to go. I think I'd rather have a 2/2 than a 4/1. Because my opponent could have just traded to recruit into it. Yasharaj must be the bottom card.
Reporting for duty.
I wonder if my opponent ever just like doesn't play Yasharaj. Because I feel like playing the Sungill here is pretty bad if you do. But maybe they figure 5 and 6 clowns is enough. Yeah, I'm pretty not scared of my opponent's board this turn, so let's just take the turn to develop a Spellkin. Gain some armor. Make a totem, why not?
I'm out of cards.
My opponent probably has like Rabbit, Yashiraj, Strongman, Wandmaker maybe? I feel like my deck tracker's done a pretty poor job of... Yeah, there's definitely a second Scrapyard Colossus. The deck tracker does not handle transform effects well for whatever reason, so it's kind of hard to keep track of what has actually been played, but I think there's another Rabbit. I think there's another Strongman. Pretty sure there's a Yashiraj in there, but maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. Does Dunk Tank open up anything for me? I don't really think it does. Oh, Revolve is really good here because the Strongman is a 0 drop. And then I can... Well, I don't know. It's kind of scary if that Scrapyard Colossus turns into a Deathwing or something, but... I guess I can play a Groundskeeper maybe. See what we can revolve into. Oh god, it's a 10-10. Why is it a 10-10? Alright, Reliquary Prime, it's your time to shine. Oh yeah, I did decide that my opponent has a Darkmoon Rabbit, so the Reliquary Prime's not super good here. Cool. Maybe I'm wrong about the rabbit. Well, Dunk Tank handles this board. And then if I'm correct that the last threat is Yashiraj, I have the board clears. What is the scariest last card the opponent could have? Oh, I forgot that gets Strongmen back too, actually. Those are kind of scary. I do have a Dunk Tank to handle one of them. Scheme does 5. If the Scheme did 4, it would be really good here, because my 2 minions would live and I could just trade them into Yashiraj. But yeah, it looks like this is probably Earthquake Bolt. Beautiful. I can hold my Scheme just in case. Oh, it's a Wandmaker. Sure. Any scary 1-mana spells? It's a secret, I just play around on my Yogg with devolving missiles or something.
I am running out of cards. Reporting for duty. The victory is...
We did it. Oh man. Well, can I beat Mill Warlock? Probably not, right? I guess I keep the 1-2 curve. I kind of want a hard mulligan for the weapon, but it's probably not responsible. If I can find my weapon, this hand is really, really good. I guess if my opponent mills me for 10, I can still, in theory, shuffle 12 into my deck, so... maybe I do win this matchup in Fatigue still. I will need probably a scheme, though, to actually be able to deal with the 18 points of damage off of the Yasharaj. Could have played the Groundskeeper here. I probably don't really need the health from it, but maybe I can heal Body of Cthulhu with it. Okay, there's a scheme. Very nice. Well, let's go ahead and heal this up as I intended. So yeah, I do need this scheme to tick up several times to be able to deal with the Yasharaj board, but maybe I can pair it with the Devolving Missiles or something. Oh boy. Coin Soul Seologist probably means I'm getting milled next turn. That should be a good time. Well, since my opponent's probably playing an 8/8 next turn, we will hold on to the Maw of Cthulhu. There goes the card my deck is built around. At least I also lost a Cage Match Custodian, and no Cthulhu pieces. So, that's not too bad, I guess. Let's go ahead and kill this. I have 3 Devolving Missiles, so I guess I'll play one. This is not a very good devolve target, but... do I devolve it again? Probably not. Oh, that's a good healing totem. Protects my Cobalt Spellkin from the Kor'kron. That seems like an awful Hysteria, but I guess the card's not really that good against my deck, generally. Oh, well, there's another Devolving Missiles for sure. Is this card good or bad for my opponent? I would really love for them to overdraw Yasharaj with it. I guess I leave this in play. Oh, the Soul Fragment doesn't get transformed? I thought it might. That would have been really bad. Why did you get such a good card? Why wasn't that, like, Scargill? I would have drawn Scargill there.
We are friends now. Hello, friend.
I could just trade Walking Fountain with the Shakzara, and then leave my opponent's Transmogrifier in play again.
For my glory.
I have no clue what I'm supposed to be doing this game. One of these things that gets transformed will be Yasharaj, right? And as long as Yashiraj gets transformed, then I can always play Cthulhu this game. Although really all I have to do is draw the heart, and then I can always get Cthulhu. Maybe I should just let my opponent mill me. It's so unlikely that heart gets milled. I would have to commit both schemes to a Yashiraj if it came down anytime soon, though. Which would be pretty bad. Hogger. Sure, this card's good here, I think. Storm Strike. Farsight. I've got some options here. Farsight can draw into some AoE, it can draw into a Spellkin. Storm Strike is so good this turn, though. I think it's gotta be Storm Strike. If I take Rockbiter, I need to find a way to kill this 2/2, and then I can kill Hogger.
I will not be rushed.
I consider myself an optimist. I'm no longer an optimist. My opponent can finally trade off the Transmogrifier here, but I don't know if they even want to. The thing is, my opponent has so much more information than me regarding the Transmogrifier. Like, if they've already gotten rid of Yashiraj, they should probably keep it. Oh, anti-synergy. Or maybe they just drew a spell, actually. I don't know if the Transmogrifier would, like, cancel the Betrogue. It's really weird that they would tap and then trade off Transmogrifier there. I guess maybe just because of the Betrogue. Let's see, my scheme is up to 7. What if I play the 7 damage scheme, my opponent plays Yashiraj? This scheme will do 7 to it. I mean, I can double scheme if I really have to. Yeah, let's just scheme here. Then we'll play a nice 4-mana 4/2 since our weapon got milled. I guess I kinda want to devolve that Mishfin. Oh, I can always play Cthulhu now, that's good. What do I want to do with this Diligent Note Taker? Copy Torrent? Might just copy this Devolving Missiles just to make sure that it hits the Mishfin. Oh, I actually totally forgot this turned into a Wisp. So yeah, that was a really good Devolving Missiles. I'll just make a board here, I guess. The Eye of Cthulhu is pretty decent here, but I don't really see much of a reason to play it. It can maybe clean up after a scheme later. Desk Imp, and then... okay, that's fine too. My Healing Totem living here was pretty good.
You shall not pass. They're not trapped. They're my friends.
Another note taker. Man, my opponent's really low on cards because 5 of these 9 are soul fragments. But yeah, I found a note taker. What do I do with it? I don't really want to copy any of the stuff I can copy here, which is missiles or missiles. I found the play. It was Hero Power Pass. No reason to do anything here. Probably use the note taker on a torrent if possible, maybe a dunk tank. Geppetto Joybuzz. Okay, sure. I was gonna say my opponent can just play Yashiraj there, but they only had 1 slot in hand, so I think it was a 50-50 between Ticketus and the other strongman. Not totally sure. This board I probably do have to do something about. This scheme is big enough to deal with Yashiraj, so I can just play this scheme. Oh wait, this one's not quite big enough though. Could just go like Heart plus Dunk Tank maybe? I do have to keep in mind that since I don't have info on whether or not he still has Yashiraj, one of these Cthulhu pieces has to be held until the end of the game. So, like, if I play Heart here, I'm committing to not playing Eye of Cthulhu anytime soon, which is maybe fine. I maybe could have gotten away with playing the bigger scheme there. But, like, my opponent has almost all of their cards in hand, so if they have Yashiraj, it's probably coming down this turn. My opponent's playing a lot of stuff. Yeah, I probably don't need that ooze since you milled my freaking weapon, you piece of shit. Okay, cool. The Yashiraj came down. There have been no philosophies, so I'm not getting milled anymore beyond this point, so I should be good. I could play like Dunk Tank Heart of Cthulhu instead of Scheme here. Dunk Tank does 6, this does 3. I leave up a 3-1 either way. Is there any reason I would want to hold the Scheme? This card is a strong man, right? But I can just kill that with Dunk Tank.
Speak to me.
Let's just do this. Also, I might want to be copying the Dunk Tank with Note Taker. Oh, my opponent's out of cards, right? Good old Iron Beak Owl. There's the Strongman. Alright, this turn is pretty straightforward, I think. Wonder if my opponent concedes here.
Out of my garden.
I almost misclicked, that would have been so awful. Pretty good thing to transmog. So I have several ways of dealing with that. Let's just blast it for 6. Should have totemed first, I guess. Oh wait, no, that 2 AoE doesn't go face, it's all of their minions, right? Wow. I milled my weapon and didn't play Cthulhu and still beat Fatigue Warlock. That's interesting. Alright, so played 12 games with this deck, went 7-5, so pretty decent win rate, and I will say that some of the games I lost were complete bullshit, so maybe the deck is even better than that. And honestly, there's not really that much I would change about this deck. I did identify a handful of cards that would probably be good to include, but it's hard to find room to, hard to find the room to include them. So, what is there? Like, Lightning Bloom could be decent, because, like, sometimes you're a turn or two off of a board clear, but, probably not one of the better things we could include. Gross did recommend Guidance, which probably would be good. It's a 1-mana spell for our weapon, and it's just a good value card. There's also Landslide, which just tends to be a pretty good board clear. I don't think we have any Overload cards in the deck, but between 2 Spellkins, 2 Wand Makers, and Instructor Fireheart, we do pick up Overload spells pretty often. So Landslide could be a pretty decent one to include as well. There's also another board clear, Lightning Storm. Lightning Storm did get buffed to always deal 3 damage instead of 2 to 3, so I think it's a significantly better card now. We could also include some card draw in the deck, potentially. Farsight is a good card. Blood Mage Thalnos is a good card as well. Blood Mage Thalnos in particular, if you decide you want to include Landslide, then Blood Mage Thalnos looks pretty good. This is like a fatigue deck, but I think we are allowed to play a few more card draw cards, because we win fatigue super hard with Fist of Raden. So yeah, Thalnos could be good. Yeah, I mentioned it's particularly good with the Landslide, but it's also just good with, like, Earthquake, Tidal Wave, Dunk Tank. It's just good with everything. It's good with the, like, Forked Lightnings that we pick up randomly as well. So yeah, I think Thalnos is quite good. And I guess, in kind of a similar vein to Thalnos, we could also play Moarg Artificer in this deck. It's good with the random Forked Lightnings we pick up. It's good with, like, Earthquake does 12 instead of 7. Tidal Wave does 6 to everything, as well as life stealing. So yeah, I think Moarg Artificer could be pretty good. But man, is it hard to find deck slots. The only things that feel really cuttable in this deck, I mean, I guess, like, Armor Vendor is a bit of a meta tech, so it's always sort of cuttable. But I played against enough aggro that I don't think I would cut it. I think Devolving Missiles is potentially cuttable. Dunk Tank is potentially cuttable, but probably only if we're playing another board clear in its place, like Landslide or Lightning Storm. And then other than that, all these other cards feel pretty core to the deck. It's kind of hard to evaluate, but maybe just like one of these big AoE things is cuttable. But it's really hard to figure out what the appropriate number of them is and which ones are the best. If I was going to cut a big AoE, it would probably be 1 copy of Earthquake, but I'm honestly not sure at all. If we were specifically going to include Guidance in this deck, I think we could maybe cut Wandmaker. Just cut 1/1 cost spell for another, but not totally sure about that. We could also maybe cut Diligent Note Taker. It is really good with copying, like, Torrent or other 1-mana spells for the weapon, but we can't really use it with any of our board clears. So the Diligent Note Taker is maybe, like, a little bit more limited than I would like, but it's still a pretty good card. I guess if I were going to make some changes now, I would probably go like -2 Wandmaker, minus Devolving Missiles. Let's make those Thalnos and the 2 copies of Guidance. And then, like, maybe try Landslide over Dunk Tank? Dunk Tank can go face, but I never really found that that was very relevant for me. But, of course, Dunk Tank can also kill, like, a 6 health minion, which was sometimes relevant. I don't know, all the cards that were in the deck already were pretty good. And I think the short list of cards I offered to potentially include are all pretty good as well, so it's hard to say what's best. And then from here, like, maybe if you're playing against 0 aggro, you go Moargs over Armor Vendor. Or maybe you go, like, 1 Moarg, 1 Diligent Note Taker. Moarg over Earthquake. I don't know about that. This is probably the list I would try next. As far as updating this for the next expansion, Fist of Ra-Den is rotating, so no point really. But anyway, thanks to Gross for the Patreon support. I actually really like this kind of Shaman deck, so I'm glad this is what you submitted.